Welcome back to some crawl stream. I figured I would throw hour at the game, I don't know. I've got a troglodyte going here. About 50 minutes in, I've pummeled the snake rune. I've gone pretty heavy in on just axes, armor, and fighting with a trickle of dodge. And I think I did get some throwing at some point or the other. Apparently, I picked up a manual for it since, which I don't remember doing. I probably acquired it. So it's worth focus training a little bit more. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty basic run, I suspect. I did just clear out Snake, but I have no resistances except for a ring of poison resist. And I've got no good or unique or artifacty armors. In fact, I don't think any have spawned for the most part. Oh, correction, I did get one, but then the crystal plate armor just seemed like a more interesting thing to go with, which has tempered my interest in going in any other direction. I should check out that scarf if it's available now. Yeah. So anyway, I think I'm going to back up and go do orc. But before I do, if I can handle orc, I can definitely handle this. Are you a mage? No? Okay, I can definitely kill all these guys. So boop, boop, and then just massacre everything. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Hit item cap, huh? So it's time to start ditching stuff I don't use. But yeah, let's just keep it simple, I suppose. I do want to keep a potion of Berserk Rage just in case it becomes relevant. I shouldn't really need a lot of this other stuff. Scarf of Shadows. Well, over a +0 cloak, yeah, Scarf of Shadows is probably more valuable. Certainly in orc where you get smiters and stuff. So let's go ahead and do orc. Even with all these priests, with 160 HP and the ability to berserk, and the fact that I have both Warple and Executioner axes in my bandolier, I don't really need to be very cautious. I could easily barrel through here. There are certainly certain combinations that can get to me, but it's far from a given that I'm going to suffer down here or anything. I am training throwing as kind of an auxiliary tactic. I don't know that I'm actually going to need it long term, but I've learned you don't actually need the full strength of all of your experience to go into your axe and your dodge and your armor. You can make do with just most of it going there, and then use the rest somewhere else more useful. Whereas having no ranged option at all can put you at a huge disadvantage in some situations. Okay, this is a bad spot. I'm slowed, and there's a warlord. Do I have an excess of something? I have enough haste that I could easily use a haste potion here. So I think I'm going to do that, just to correct my error. It's not worth retreating with 4 priests on the screen. Now it might be worth retreating. What is he using? A Vorpal Broadaxe, just like me? Yeah. Now it might be worth retreating. Let's kill the summoner and then get out. But yeah, retreating while slowed with 4 smiters can end very badly for you indeed. Alright, we got our mojo back. And we will mojo these guys to death. And alright, that helter-skelter approach totally did not get me killed. I do not have the ability to resist the fire that they're clearly using against me, so let's close in so they stop using it. We'll turn on regen and will. I don't need berserk here to win this thing. Good. Alright. Yeah, I can't exactly blind play, but I can certainly play very quickly. Okay, I don't need to buy any weapons. I will absolutely taste a new pair of gloves. Hopefully it's better than what I've got. It's in fact identical, so no point in keeping it. A jewelry boutique with a slayage ring is nice, but it's only slay +2, and it's super expensive, so I'm not as excited about it. I could take a ring of poison, or sorry, of fire or ice resist, but a 1 resist ring seems kind of limited. I've actually already done the ice cave with no resistances, I believe, on this run. Does it say somewhere if I've done? Yeah, Ice Cave is visited. Hand Axe of Valor. Now that's an interesting option. A really crappy axe damage-wise, but it gives me poly resist in a pinch when I really need it. It's cheap enough that I'm considering taking it just so I have an elemental resistance option. But the only time I can think that I would intentionally use it would be if I'm somehow in a fire spot, and I just don't see it happening. All right, so I'm going to consider this a bust. And I'm stingy enough with my cash that I'm not going to pay for any of this. I don't have a weapon that I particularly want to enchant yet. No better boots of spawn. All right, so we are unfortunately in a low loot situation, which, you know, I've got a Storm Kitty going on my alt right now, so low loot is not necessarily terrifying or game ending, but it does kind of make you wish you had more loot, that's all. I think one of the biggest things, one of the biggest kicks I get out of this game is that power growth sense, and then being able to roll another character and do it again and do it again. It's fun to get strong. Well, that's a slightly better anti-magic executioner axe than I already had. Oh, I don't have an anti-magic. Okay, well, I'm gonna ditch the anti-magic battle axe then. Oh yeah, I have RC on this quarterstaff that dropped for me way back when. I'm probably never gonna use it, but it makes me feel happy to know I can switch to it if I need to. I don't need to carry a spare unenchanted executioner's axe. If I accidentally read branding, that's what I'm going to use it on. Because I am at the point of read IDing stuff. Okay. Orc is fully cleared, and we got no loot. We're going to full clear dungeon next. And then we'll back up and do vaults. Or at least some of it anyway. Maybe not the last floor. How are my defense skills going? Fight, axe, throw, armor. I'm willing to throw on dodging as well at this point. The real key here is to get throwing's manual used up so that I can turn it off. You know you're doing good when you can go toe-to-toe with a Yakshwar and just outshoot it. My god, after having played a Fragile Kitty, it's so refreshing to play something with a little more oomph to it. I think I can go Intelligence to 8 or Strength to 28. And I kind of just want to take Strength this time. I'll back up and do Intelligence again later, but I just want to make my axe even bigger and more powerful. I do so love to cut. Cut, cut. Cut, 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 cut. Oh, Gazalgalter. No, I would actually, if it weren't for the penalty... If you could switch gods without having to face their wrath, if there was a payment you could give or something, I would do it way more often, because there's definitely games where it's like, I feel like trying something else, or I think that my current deity isn't providing me any more benefit, and it'd be fun to just switch. But I'm so afraid of God Wraths happening at the wrong time that it's a whole aspect of the game I've basically never touched. Which, now that I'm saying that out loud, I'm realizing is a failing. I probably need to improve that. I'm in striking range of the Malials, which is not good. Let's get everyone visible. And then let's start taking them out with javelins. Which I am very well trained with. And I have a very real chance at hitting. Yeah, 60% chance to hit. And if they come up to me, obviously I just beat them up. I specifically did not Berserk here because it would put me in a very dangerous situation if it didn't kill everything I needed it to. And then the Malials got free hits to smite me with. Okay. D15 cleared, onto the vaults. I would prefer vaults to shoals right now. Ooh, Distant Wind. That's tempting. More cool weapons. I do not resist fire, so that crab could be very scary. Let's be ready to retreat into the door at the drop of a hat. That was not scary at all, but I am still marked, so let's not get too crazy. We're not doing well here. Do I have... This will do nicely. Tremor Stones and Cleave Strikes on the Boggarts. I do not resist cold, so that dragon could really hurt. Let's force it to come to me so I can get quick butchery. Same. This mark is really turning this opening into a devastating melee. We can turn on recovery here. And I think I can pop the second tin of Tremor Stones just to soften these guys up. Every time one of them pushes their way in, I smile. Okay, you 3 archers are going to be the death of me. I need to step up to take all of you out. In position. No idea how much that mark actually did, but if there is, in fact, a whistle wind nearby, it would sure be... Are you serious? Another mark? That's not good. At least this time it's not bringing out quite as much misery, but I'm in a much worse position to defend against it right now. Just in terms of the number of squares I'm exposed on. I'm going to have to teleport when this is done. But it just was too tempting to kill all of these guys at once. Do I teleport? Nah, I think I just heal. I think I'm okay, as long as I don't get paralyzed or something. Yeah, let's get an ally in play. Just to help me thin their numbers. Lord knows I'm getting enough piety that I can do whatever I want with it at this point. It's not like the ally had to live long, he just had to stall them for a few more seconds, and that's all I needed. I will absolutely try out the new axe. It's an even slightly betterer anti-magic axe, which means I can now ditch the other +2 Executioner's axe, since I have duplicates in higher pluses for the eventual branding scroll. I need Ice Dragon Scales. Those exist. Wait, I haven't found an Ice Dragon Scales? Oh, I guess I killed Ice Dragons without the scales. And I have no enchant armors for them, so yeah, it's gonna be worth... It'll probably be worth sparing a few enchant scrolls to get one up to snuff when eventually I find one. Very distant. It wasn't very distant before, so I'm going the wrong way. So let's try going this way instead. Here it is. Sure. I don't mind going in. I have 1 blink scroll to escape with. No resistances whatsoever. Okay, now we just run. Right until the wind collapses around us, we run. I'm terrified of this place. I don't know if I've ever told you guys. Because I don't understand what saltlings are or what they do. Or hierophants, or all of the enemies here, really. Now we kill everything that was attacking me, and then quickly run for the exit. Oh boy, that was not supposed to happen. Cancellation for sure, because I can't afford to not be at my best. And if I have might, now would be the time for it, and then we just butcher everything. I thought I was going to make it to the exit before this happened. That it was not the case. Okay. So we definitely survived. Handily. We can't afford to go berserk, clearly. But I do think we can afford to poke our nose again. Like, if that was just the greeting party, we're probably okay. Cloak of Shadows is probably helping a little too. Maybe I should pre-drink might. Do I have any more might? No. I could... I don't know if invisibility helps here. I do know that I don't want to be this far away from the door. But I do want loot. I do love currency. Alright, these are the enemies. Let's see what they do. You, what's your deal? Abjuration, Bolt of Draining, Shadow Creatures, and something called Ghostly Sacrifice. Not good, certainly. And you, what do you do? Confuse with a 50% probability of success. So I think they already know I'm here, one of them anyway. So the first thing I need to do is put on MR so that they can't trivially kill me. Their abilities. Then I need to hide. And then I can just pummel. Oh, whoa! I have an anti-magic. I am wielding it. Okay, good. If I'm wielding anti-magic, I probably am going to be okay. And that stopped them pretty good. Now I can look at their loot. Ominously black robe, double sword. I literally cannot justify ever wearing a robe on this character. But I'll look into your cloak. A willpower cloak is interesting. There's no denying that. It's a very valuable thing to have better will. The rest of this stuff I think I can leave. But let's try on that ring. This place sometimes gives very good rings. This was not such a time. I'm going to ditch the Ring of See Invisible that is strictly inferior to the superior one I now have. And that gives me my first elemental pip, which is good. And we'll stay on anti-magic for sure. I think for the moment... we can ditch this cloak. For the moment, I prefer Scarf of Shadows to minimize my visibility, especially for when they stop the wind and expose tons of enemies. I think the thing that's really making me a little more comfortable is that they had a few turns with a Guardian Naga, or whatever they're called, and that Naga was not able to pull 100 enemies at me, so presumably there aren't hundreds of enemies that I haven't seen yet. The Shifting Sands is such a cool mechanic here. And the anti-magic axe is really the right call. Because as long as I get a couple hits in, I can stop them from doing any nastiness to me. I'm not even checking battle axes anymore. I have an above-average executioner axe speed, so other two-handers don't interest me. Or other two-handers. Other one-handers, you can make the argument. I don't know what is going on here, but it doesn't look good. I can still be lightninged, and that guy is the one that can still the winds. These look like a superior version of the manticores I'm used to. I think I charge the wind stopper. That's what I do. So brothers in arms, and then we just plow into him. I'm taking massive damage, so we're going to go ahead and put on regen. And now we're going to berserk, because I can see that I'm not winning fast enough. And then we're going to quickly retreat into the shadows and the wind. Okay. We have lost a pip of piety in here from all of the use of Trog abilities, but we're also clearing the place quite effectively. And oh, still winds happened. And you know what? That's okay. That's actually okay. I don't mind still wins right now in this moment because I have these guys pretty dead to rights. Somehow they're still managing to get bolts off despite anti-magicking, but there we go. Winds are back. Talk about your winds of war. Crystal Plate Golem sounds scary. He probably is scary. But I'm wearing the same thing he is, so meh. Yeah, no, that wasn't scary at all. He can't dodge, so he gets pummeled. Resist corrosion, lose intelligence. Good thing I've been upgrading that all game. But nothing else of value, so no thank you, but no thank you. I'll keep it for the resist corrosion just in case, but I'm sure I'm bound to get a better source of resist corrosion. Gotta tell you, the loot here has been pretty underwhelming so far. I do not like this engage. Much better. Alright, alright. Now we're cooking with gas. Clouds of salt gas, but still. And I think we're close to clearing this enough that I can just tab fight my way through it now. No, I was wrong. There's at least one more big mob to deal with. And they have now been dealt with. I don't need that, thank you. If I ever go to single-handers, it's going to be a broad axe for the sake of using a shield. If I ever do that, it's going to be because I found a shield that has very good abilities on it. I can see no other circumstance where that happens. I already have found the treasure vault, so I don't need to carry demon weapons for fun. This is a nice piece of tech. Another artifact ring. Nope, this isn't an artifact. And it's not valuable. Just because I'm damn curious, what would happen if I wore this? Well, I would get mutated if I took it off. Yeah, but what choice do I have? There isn't another cancellation known in the dungeon. It hurts my AC too much. I'm just going to have to risk the mutation. Do I have mutation potions available? Yeah, okay. We're going to take it off. And feel a little bit jilted. I got lucky. I did not get mutated. Let's go Crystal Plate and Cloak of Will over Shadows. Because in general, I would prefer that. We're not even going to carry this out with us, because our poise on a ring is probably better than giving up my powerful armor. I need to get undrained soon, and this mob is going to help me do it. Not, a lot, but give me a start. Polished mace. Not interested in all this stuff. And there we go. We have looted the desolation successfully. I have a really bad series of memories of either dying or burning a lot of blink scrolls and nearly dying in a place like that before. So, and the problem with Wiz Labs is you only get them so rarely, because there's several to choose from that can spawn, and there's no guarantee that any one of them spawns or even any of them spawn. So you don't get a lot of experience and practice with them to understand them well. And they only ever come late enough in the game that there's is it worth it? I have enough without it. I'm not going to do anything risky. So I'm very slow to build my understanding of the places. We'll carry... Oh, there was a disto weapon. Who's got the distortion weapon? You have the distortion weapon. Well, you, sir, have earned the right to be killed directly. I don't even want to take a turn hitting. Unfortunately, I now got cornered, so I kind of don't have a choice. I don't have nearly enough evocation to paralyze this person. I don't have any means of blinking. And yeah, I guess I just take it on the chin. Unless I can fear. You know what? I'll just risk it. Phew. Statistically speaking, my odds were pretty good to not die there. Or to not get abyssed. Even if the disto brand hits through my massive AC, it's probably just going to deal a little bit of extra damage instead of abyss me. But also, part of my thinking was with 43 AC and this big an axe, I could probably handle being abyssed for a little bit. Not that I'm recommending it or going to try for that just now, but, if that happens to me, it's not necessarily game over. Too lazy to pick it up. Just ID it off the ground. Ooh, this is something I need. I'll drop that for now. Okay, I don't understand this. It looks like a series of doors. So presumably increasingly scary enemies until we get to the end. I will take off my hat to you and try your new hat. And it's the same as my old hat. Good enough. Confuse eyeball needs to die immediately. Everything else can die in its own good time. Do I have a... I should switch over to a generically strong fiery axe. Ooh. RC Will and Corrosion is a great set of resistances. But it would drop my AC by 16, so it's not worth considering. I would rather be less resistant, but massively actually strong. Couple more floors of the vaults, please. Baishuzen. Whoa, 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 whoa. You should never tab fight into Baishuzen. Not that you can tell from what actually happened, but yeah. It is nice to be this powerful. No denying it. I hate Lance of Force. I want to put myself in a position where I can fight 1v1 and where such abilities do not matter. And I finally have that slight bonus to will that makes, you know, every little enchantment a little less scary. Banishment at 10% I'll risk. Banishment at, you know, 50% less so. Because, you know, if he chooses to use it, it could very well be effective. I could also, you know, turn on my Trog's Hand if I wanted to. That's the choice, the alternative I have. But, you know what? Finish your summoning ritual. I want to fight what summons. There you go. Okay, the Etten actually got a hit off, so I have to Berserk to get my HP back. That's fine. What am I wearing? Something pretty generic. This is even worse. Vorpal, Broad Axe, and a Kite Shield. That's fine. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, I can just blow you out of the water. And your little dog, too. Oh, that Kite Shield was enchanted, huh? Kite Shield of Protection. Plus a Broad Axe. That's actually a really good kit. I could totally switch to that, but at this point, I've invested so much in axes, it's pretty clear that this is the direction I'm going to have to go to make use of my experience. Besides, with Crystal Plate Mail, I don't necessarily need a shield on top. I've just got 43 AC, and that's a lot. For a 3-rune game, I'm probably strong enough already. Okay, not paying attention, got Abyssed. That's fine. We planned for this. We did not plan for Abyss 3, however, so we're going to need to be mentally aware that we are not in quite as safe a place. We have Heal Wounds and Curing aplenty. I will not travel deeper into the Abyss on purpose. But apart from temp mutations, I'm not too worried about... apart from permanent mutations, I'm not too worried about what may happen here. Temp mutations, yeah, it's fine. I can live with them. Permanent mutations would be very sad. Battle scars that don't heal easily. I see silver javelins to the left. I'm going to go back for those, assuming I have the inventory space. I do not, so I will ditch my 105 poison darts that I will pretty much never use, since clearly at this point in the game, darts are not my plan. So that's a Cacodemon. That is, in fact, one of those aforementioned malmutators I was talking about. But he's not chasing me. Oh, there he is. I think we've hopefully hit him and therefore sealed his magic. But I don't know. Now we hit him. And now he'll die. Now we can switch back to a damaging brand instead of anti-magic, which is a specialty sealing brand, obviously. You also are a malmutator, so we're going to kill you as fast as possible. It looks like there's a burst of holy flame around me. How does Blessed Fire work? Is it just fire or something else? Also, hello everybody on stream. It's good to see y'all. Okay, so that's fine. I think I can just back away. I took some damage, but not a ton. And this is a slightly better place to fight from. Now I can fight the Ophan directly. And the spawn. Okay. Do I or do I not heal? I think I do. I think it's worth using Trog's healing early here instead of waiting till it's too late. So certainly my damage is on point, is sufficiently powerful to subsist against the average enemies here. While I might well get mutated, this could actually be a decent spot to pick up a rune, now that I think about it. If I'm able to swim in the abyss this way for a little longer... Curses. A pox on whoever decided that these guys needed to have the ability to force lance you. Somehow I took a ton of damage there, so we'll definitely get back some healing. I can heal wounds again if necessary. There's less value to heal woundsing aggressively when you can easily be, what's the word? Tormented. So being at 100% HP is not necessarily that big a deal compared to being at 80% HP, which is good enough. It's different if every point of HP is going to have to be earned. If you're like immune to torment or highly resist. Actually, that's a good point. I should resist tormentation right now. Certainly over poison. I'm less likely to get poisoned down here, and then I can always flip it back on if I see the wrong kind of enemy coming up. I saw something very scary. A torment ball. This is a wide open area. I do not like that with blink bolters afoot. There's a silence coming from behind. I'm tempted by that, actually, because I can quaff Berserk Rage if I need to get one Berserk in while under silence. And other than that, I lose access to Trog's abilities, which, while nice, are generally not required. Meanwhile, some of my enemies can't cast magic. Well, I guess some. Others can, so yeah, never mind. Alright, I've killed enough things that I can leave the Abyss if I want to. I've taken no mutations. Some transient mutations that I don't care about. Okay, lots of transient mutations that I care about. Let's get out. My transient mutations shouldn't last long, but while I have them, non-regeneration with teleportitis are both here, so I need to be very cautious about that. It's probably not a huge deal, just need to be cautious. That's all. Let's put this back on. That was interesting. That was an interesting jaunt into the abyss. I am much more comfortable now that I won't die if I get abyssed. I still have the non-regeneration, which I really dislike. And there we go. All mutations fixed. Good. The same exact mistake that landed me in the situation initially, I just did it again. But this time, I didn't suffer as badly. Okay, what's that? Nothing. Ignore that. Pummel, pummel, pummel. Pummel to death. And... yeah, Volt's cleared. Down and on. Don't want it, don't need it, don't care. Oof. Okay, no idea where Donald came from or why he had such a dangerous... Ooh. Nope, not interested. It's a nice shield and all, but it's no crystal plate armor, so... The rare times the dungeon gives you something your character can actually use that's unique, it's kind of nice to keep using it. Training is fine. I like the spread. I can turn off throwing now because I lost the manual. These guys, which ones are scary? The eyeball is scary. The rest of them are kind of okay. I guess the brain is scary. Tremor Stone twice to thin out the crowd, and then we'll just kill them outright. Tolerating all the shots in the back is pretty cool. When you can tab fight through a mob that big, you know you're ahead of the curve. Alright, we good here. We good. More. Tab fighting. Massacre the skies. Tab fighting. Cut between their eyes. Tab fighting. Okay, massive damage taken, massive damage shrugged off. 200 HP, I am literally a moving tank at this point. I'll be at a tank with no resistances, just armor and HP. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot of Zot traps. I don't much care for that. I guess we do shoals next. It's kind of scary to do shoals, I'll be honest with you, with so little resistance and only 2 pips of MR. But I have been cross-training into throwing, so I do have a semi-ranged option. I was going to use this on +3. I have a fire axe, an ice axe, and a fire axe, ice axe, and anti-magic. I've got 3 different axe types. They're all quite good. And I'm pretty sure at this point I'm at or close to min delay. Yeah, I'm going to be at min delay in no time, in 0.1 XLs. So, that's pretty cool. At which point I probably stop training axes and don't worry about level 27. Just focus on defenses. I do not have a source of flight that I'm using. I do have a ring of flight that I could be using, but I don't know that it's worth it. Do I have willpower on? Do I have willpower at all? Okay, I could go back to buy a willpower ring. That might not be the worst choice, honestly. But the thing is, unlike shielding, even if I get, confused or whatever, I still retain the AC bonus of my massive AC. I do like fear. We can ditch random effects instead. I can definitely ditch that. So what does that leave? I should probably put evocations on at some point, just to give me even 4 or 5 levels is a huge deal compared to just 0 to... So going up to level 10, for example, will vastly improve some power. You know, I'm tempted because plate mail, unlike some of the things, is a 10-10 armor, right? But how do you compare that to a 1423 that you've already pumped 6 enchant rolls into? You just don't. I'll definitely buy a spare Blinky. That's nice. And spare Fear. That's nice too. Ignore basic javelins. We've grown past the need for them. Ignore. It is telling that the branch that I would argue is least hospitable to melee fighters is the one that my character is having less difficulty with than some of the mages I run, just because of how utterly defensively tanky he is. Although it's going to be fun running Storm Kitty through this when I get there. Before you guys cut my will in half with your satyr nonsense. An artifact? Smoking axe. Yeah, I'm interested. What does it do? Well, it's a much bigger flame axe that resists poison and sees invis. In other words, it frees up all my... Okay, we're going to go ahead and ditch the ordinary Executioner Axe of Flame and wield this bad boy as my basic weapon from now on. While wielding this, I don't need a see invis ring. Of course, this is giving me fire, but I definitely don't need a poison ring, so I can then swap in this, I guess. Resist Necro. That gives me a few resistances. There are uncursed rings of fire in the dungeon, so I can go and buy one if push comes to shove, and I need some broad resistance. Honestly, a Scarf of Resistance would go really well with my current build, because I don't need the cloak's AC as badly. I have very high AC, unusually high AC from other sources. Alright, I did feel like I had to use regen there to get a little bit of HP back, so that was not a pure profit on piety, but good enough. Okay, that was a really cool artifact there that I didn't really catch. What was it? Freeze RN ++. Oh, it's an Arbalest. You can just forget about it. I'm never, ever switching to Arbalest this game. That little vault has 2 really nice scrolls, and all I have to do is kill a Blinky Octopus that is 93% going to evade my axe, mind you, and a ghost that is never going to be able to evade my axe. 93% is pretty massive. What if I were to drop down to a Vorpal Battle Axe instead? Would that help? 98%. Somehow he's even more likely to evade it. Probably because it doesn't have as many pluses. It's got a lot of will also. So if I open this vault, that octopus is going to be a pain. I think I ignore the vault for now. I'll come back to it later. The truth is, it's probably okay if it evades it. I mean, a lot of these enemies have reasonable evasion on my Executioner Axe, but if I hit once, they die, and if I miss 8 times, they can't kill me through this much armor. So I can probably open that vault in the future, but I'm going to wait until there's a reason to. I'm not exactly starved for profit just yet. So I have a good generic damage axe. I've got a Vorpal axe, and I've got an anti-magic axe for Orbs of Fire. I've got a decent set. I don't actually need more axes to win with, which means I should probably be pumping my plus weapon scrolls into one of them. Either the Vorpal or the anti-magic. Probably the anti-magic, because the one time that I want my kills to be quick and instant are when I'm up against a Malmutator. The rest of the time I can afford to take a little longer. Magic Dart, 57% is a lot less evasive. Magic Dart, nothing else. Immune to a bunch of stuff, but yeah, I'll go for it. Open the door. Cut an octopus. I missed about half the shots, and I hit the other half. He doesn't have anything of value in here, hence why they put such a low-level octopus to guard the door. I don't stop for battle axes. Butcher. Help! Get me out of here. Good. What's all this now? Nothing. Wait. Whoa, 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 whoa. That I like. That I really do like. What am I never using? I can think of precious few situations where being a tree and melding my armor is ever going to help me, so lignification can go in favor of this rank. And Shoals 4, aka the bottom of the area, scariest spot, I fell asleep. That's not what you want to do. It's not what you want to do. Of course, they couldn't hurt me through my AC even asleep. Like I said, the difference between a powerful shield, like that shield of the Gong Run, and a powerful AC, you can just tank stuff even when you're debilitated. It forgives your MR fail just a little bit more. Being in a net doesn't destroy your shielding ability. I mean, it destroys your shielding ability, not your armor ability. I should really drink Flight just a little bit more often. I have this mentality of always save consumables, and yet Flight Potions I basically will never use in a game, except maybe in 1 or 2 functional vaults where there's no other way to get around them. To get around their use. Like right here, there's no point being on uneven footing. None whatsoever. You used to have to stand over every corpse of every Trog kill to sacrifice it for piety. And then to choose between that or eating more food so that you could berserk more easily, because berserk consumed a lot of your hunger status. You know, these are all the things that they got so deep into my brain I never really questioned their presence or absence. And now that they're not in the game, I don't want to think about playing with those again. It feels tedious just to think about it. Yeah, that looks like it might actually be the chamber. Let's go ahead and fly again. And now I feel a lot safer. Nope, not the chamber. Oh, but it's a Slayer ring. Slayer rings actually are very valuable to me. I don't need 2 rings of Protect Fire, certainly. And I'll put that on in favor of an RN pip. Something that's always useful to me versus something that's only useful against a small subset of enemies that in theory I can hot swap for. Not a hard choice. I do want a full array of these bad boys. Let's ditch all my battle axes at this point, I think. Certainly my war axes can go. And we can stop training axes since we've crossed 26 now. And therefore have min delay on my executioner axe. Bad spot to fight. Let's try and move. Quaff. Flight. Whoa, okay, I'm taking a shit ton of damage, and I don't know why. We have to waste a blink scroll because I was not paying enough attention. And somehow managed to get myself into real trouble. Okay, that did not go nearly as well as I'd hoped. Let's Tremor Stones to continue to thin them out. And now let's just run for it, I guess. I didn't berserk, so I can still walk away. And there we go. If I live, I win. If I don't live, I lose. They caught me off guard. They had to take full advantage of it in that moment. They failed to do so. I win. Granted, I had to use a lot of power to get out of that. That blink scroll in particular was a high price, but blink scrolls that you save and then die while holding are even more embarrassing. So, you know, no regrets. If you're fearing me, I will stand over here and wait for you. And then I will show you what fear really is. All right. So we have cleared that and that. So we're good for the depths now, I suppose. We have some resistances. I could still stand to have more, but I'll take what I can get. We are also on the high lookout for an Ice Dragon Scales if it ever drops, because that would enable us to get into a treasure vault, which I do still think we're... I mean, we have no good armors, so a treasure vault that gave me some decent armors would be very much appreciated. I do not like how much of the depths how much is unknown and how deep I'm going into the unknown. So I'm digging my way, I'm searching my way towards this corner. I'm going to clear out this corner as a retreat spot, basically. Okay, so I've got a safe haven to retreat to over here. Well, it's a corpse, but not a wearable corpse, unfortunately. Mild drain, what can you do? Okay. Slam the door shut to attract everyone to it, and then just blow them up. I do resist poison, yeah? Yeah, I just frequently, I'm rolling it so frequently that it still happens, but... Okay, Boggart. Boomerang. Too late. It's fine. No mutations. Periodically checking your mutations when you've been dealing with a whole lot of enemies quickly is very, very good practice. If you're not the kind of guy who's very careful or sets a reminder about them. I am going to switch to anti-magic. Because if I can... Perfect. Just land a couple hits to prevent Mara from making clones, that would be awesome. I don't know if that actually worked, because she did make clones in the end, so meh. Oh, and we can drop this. There's nothing on that merits keeping open. You know, when I'm a mage, I think I learn all of the strengths and weaknesses of different enemies, and you know what they're vulnerable to, and how to disable them, and how to kill them, and how to kite them. Well, right now I am the equivalent of one of those insanely strong enemies that needs to be dealt with, kitted out against, and they are the ones trying to figure out how to deal with me. And my solution to all situations is basically hit it with an axe. I was going to say hit it with a rock, but unfortunately that's actually already taken by trolls who actually use rocks. All right. So yeah, pretty solidly into depths. And showing no signs of weakening. Even has protection against hubris just from the sheer amount of... Oh, whoa. We don't resist fire. Let's go ahead and fix that real quick. In this situation, we don't need to see invisible or resist cold as much as we need to resist fire. Alright, now we can go ahead and turn that back on. Intelligence ring is pointless for us. And, what was I doing again? Yeah, good enough. Oh, Ice Dragon. perfect timing. Do we have the enchant armors we need for it? We actually have exactly enough in the dungeon, I believe. If I take the ones from the shoals, which, if we will recall, were gated. So we're going to have to head there, and we're going to have to risk this final duel, and then I'm probably going to call it a night once I loot the treasure room, because I don't want to take too much longer tonight. But, yeah, let's get ready to rumble. So we've got 2 enemies. This one is 84%, so we've gotten more accurate, apparently. Probably the Ring of Slaying helped. Neither does elemental damage, so that doesn't matter. Slaying, and does Dex plus 2 help my cause at all? Nope, it's about the same, 82%. 82% to evade. Okay, this one, on the other hand, should just get crushed. Yeah, so we're just going to plow through them with the Berserk, I think. I spent way more time thinking about that than I had to. Something about the 90-something% to evade scared me, and it was completely unnecessary to be afraid. Now, the next question is it better put 3 more plus ACs onto my crystal plate mail, or to spend those scrolls here? I vote for spending them, specifically because I am so low on good armors that any source of good armors is a good one for me. I'm also dropping all my potions in a pile right now, so I can, complete this task. So let's go ahead. A. Yes. We did not get much good stuff. We did get a blink scroll back, which is nice. We got a whole pile of nothing in gold. We did get a artifact amulet. That could be nice. Reflect with int plus and shield. Well, that is kind of nice. I can't deny that I like the reflect and the shield bonus, so okay. Protection from cold is actually pointless for me. I'll keep it as a switch ring, I suppose, maybe, but I already am wearing something that does that better, so no, I won't. What was I wearing before? Slaying, that definitely stays. Yeah, we can ditch the Ring of Intelligence as well. So, all our hopes are pinned on this hat, and the hat is good. Resist electricity is a definite yes in my book, and it's a missing resistance that I'm very happy to have now. The rest of this stuff, yeah, so at the end of the day, you could argue the 3 pips of AC would have been better than all of that, and I would find that argument hard to refute. But them's the way the cookie crumbles and such. We're not going to take boomerangs, I don't think, at this point, because what is the accuracy of a boomerang? Boomerang is 6 base damage, no accuracy listed, and javelins are 10, and I'm pretty close to high enough training that the boomerang is pointless to keep, so I'm not going to keep it. We're at 2 runes. Let's go ahead and finish the run. Or not finish the run, end the game. We're just going to try and do this real quick. Nothing here that can lock me in, so you're all welcome to approach. And we will pull. Approach. Pull. Approach. Pull. Approach. Pull. Got constricted that time. That wasn't as nice. Approach. Pull. Approach. Pull. This is why people who tell me that they've always used immolation or something, I just never understood it. Because my 2 ways of breaking in here are AoE spells and this. And I do that like every single time to the point of ridiculousness. My builds are usually centered around these methods anyway, so it's not like a detour to get those online. Alright, dragons are scary. They can push you off the starting space. Approach, constriction, berserk, and then leave, I guess? No, can't berserk because there's a Volt Guard close by, so we'll pull. That Volt Guard is going to lock the stairs down soon. So we need to be ready mentally to stand our ground this time. And if that's the case, then haste. And is there a might? There is not might. I can work without it. Called it. Now that we're hasted, we can just head north. I think. We don't resist fire, and there's a lot of fire guys there. And unfortunately, they're pincering me on both sides, so I can't just take one of them out. I think I'm actually going to go northwest or southwest and see if there's a corridor to hide in. I think a murder hole. Yeah. Let's go southwest and aim for a murder hole. First, let's drink resistance. I don't want to play around with item swapping for resistances right now. And we'll definitely turn on Trog's Hand for all the good that it is like, because it is likely to do me a lot of good. Okay, now we are in a much better position. Let's heal wounds twice because we are very low on health. Or not very low, but we are lowish on health. Okay, the doors are unlocked. Work our way into a real murder hole situation. And now, with the door closed, we should be able to take on everyone. This is why we train evocations, so we can get these beautiful acid clouds. Okay, you are pummeling me to death, and I do not like it. Let's heal wounds twice, and then go invisible. At least some of these enemies can't deal with that. And I don't want to berserk. That's a shortcut to dying without knowing it. Let's tremor stones. Tremor stones. Am I wearing the slaying ring? Yeah, I am. Okay, good. My resistance is worn off. But the problem isn't resistance right now. The problem is that I'm being hit from out of range. This is a lousy murder hole to have dug myself into. I don't want to risk a random teleport just yet. Trog's Hand again. There we go. Buy myself a little bit of time with my Berserk ally. Very little bit of time. Let's re-drink haste. Yeah, it occurs to me that trying to preserve any resources when I'm up against this big a massacre is stupid. Don't get marked. Please don't get marked. My only hope of actually winning this is that at some point their numbers thin out enough that I can... Paralyzed. That's not good. If there are things that can paralyze me, I need to back off and hide a little more. Yeah, chug through your heal wounds, man. Just chug through them. They're here to be used. In fact, condenser vein. There you go. You're healing up pretty good. Recast. Okay, that's nasty. I didn't know that could happen. I thought that if I was standing on the door, I would get pushed inside, but I guess there's no rule that says which way I get pushed. I don't resist fire anymore, so let's fix that. If I don't use all my consumables here, I'm probably never going to use them for the rest of the game, so, you know. So that's as good a time as any. You could argue this is even a little more dangerous than Zot, because by the time I take on Zot, I have access to even more power. Another few levels. I think... Yeah, I need an ally here. Somebody who can divide the hits with me. Can you take that guy out, please? Funnel them all into here. This is a much better place to fight than surrounded by the door. Somehow, despite liberally using all my god abilities, I gained piety. Which, I guess, the somehow is kind of obvious. I killed everything that came in here, and there was a lot of everything to do. Okay. Well, if we cleared that, we'd probably just win now. If I die to hubris after that intensely good play, I would be so disappointed in myself. No mutations. And now we just loot 3 runes in 2 hours. At the end of the day, it's nice to play a melee dude that doesn't care about anything except killing stuff. Your game goes much faster. I'm not speed running, and it doesn't matter. 2 hours is a excellent time. Well, I will put away my ring of life, whatever it's called. Where is it? Positive energy, and keep this one instead for all the same reasons. And let's try this ring out. Wizardry Slay +6? Oh, geez. Well, I've got to keep that. Yeah, so we're going to ditch this guy, and we're going to put on both slaying rings at once, I guess. So I have a serious deficit on resistances, but I have +10 slayage, which kind of wins on its own. All I need now is a scarf, and I'm in great shape. A scarf of resistance would be great. And, you know, gloves and boots and all my other armor slots to fill out my resistances would be, you know, just perfect. I just plowed into Boris and killed him like he was nothing. I thought he was nothing. Alright, let's get the last of these guys. Unbelievable. Well, I mean, it is technically better than untyped gloves, so I will take them, but I won't be happy about it. This dungeon has been very stingy with good elemental loot. Very stingy. I'm going to go to the Elven Hall, see if I can't bone up my defense, my elemental defenses a little bit first. Alright, you know what? I'll just leave here, come around. Yeah, after Volts 5, you guys do not even come on my radar for scary. Sorry. I know how highly you all think of yourselves, but, you know, you being elves and all that, but no. Oh, shafted. That's not fun. I would like a potion of might. I'll drop brilliance if I have it. Or something else, I guess. Immolation. any point in the game I would use it is pretty much past at this stage. All right, up we go. Up, up, up. Elf 3 is still potentially quite dangerous. Like, I'm not convinced that I'm going to plow through that just now. But Elf 1 and 2 are gimmies, and I'm totally taking the gimmies. They also frequently would give you some decent jewelry or something. I don't know. It's possible. I pick it up here. Alright, nope. Next. I'm going to be so hard-pressed if I have to beat the game with no elemental resistances, pretty much, except what I can get on my rings. Well, I guess to be fair, I have RCF and RC on rings. I just prefer Slay 10. And that's a preference, and I can undo that preference if it turns out I need the elementals. So, yeah, I can't complain. Yeah, not interested in any of this. I'll buy some stuff just because I can, but... strength and honor. But at this point, I should probably stop training strength. I have enough strength to do anything strength requires. No need to pop the hollow blades open. Yeah, okay. Literally only one scarf in the whole dungeon. It's unbelievable. Crypt? I shouldn't do Crypt. Crypt has nasty stuff in it. Yeah, like, for example, the Crypt has this giant friggin' axe-wielding Minotaur Berserker who just cuts his way through everything with an executioner's axe that he wields like a dagger because he's so proficient. I have 1 pip of resist necro, that's all I need. There's like 3 rings of protection down here. That's kind of awesome. I could max out my AC to like 60 right now if I wanted to with those rings. Man, I should play an octopus sometime. Oh, perfect. Just the thing I wanted. It was bemoaning not finding. Alright, now I have 1 pip of every resistance and a swappable resist corrosion ring. So now I can comfortably throw myself at the end game. Do I have 3? And I have 3 runes, so we're just good. We're just good. When playing for speed, one of the things that I might do to go faster would be to not actually full clear the depths floors, but just, you know, bypass them, so to speak. After all, what is the point of full clearing if I'm not gonna to actually loot anything? Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take a Vorpal over freezing. Vorpal always works. Also, I'm going to punt all of my enchant weapon scrolls into the anti-magic. My general purpose killing is best served with the weapon I'm currently using. And when I really need to absolutely kill a certain target, it's probably a mage or an orb of fire. And depleting their mana points probably matters more than anything else in those situations. Alright, evocations can stop. It hit 10. Armor is fine to go all the way. Axes is fine to go all the way. Fighting is fine to go all the way. Throwing and dodging, yeah. So basically at this point, defense matters more than offense. I've got enough offense. I'm a brigade of firepower unto myself. Kill the caustic strikes. You don't resist corrosion. It's the one thing you don't natively resist. Or not natively, whatever. You don't have the resistance on at all times. Everything else I have at least 1 pip of resistance, and that should be enough. My real resistance isn't the resistance pip, it's the giant AC of 42. Okay, but not being paralyzed, that's just bad. Okay, I went down to 75 somehow, so we're going to start getting my health back. I'm nervous. When I get nervous, I don't want to get dead, so let's take a few basic precautions, make sure we win all these fights. What the hell is this place? How many enemies have they packed into 1 or 2 rooms? I'm getting kind of ticked, I'm not going to lie to you. I got paralyzed while berserked. That's not fun. Alright, we killed the summoner. We killed the mob. All that's left is the Rock Sasha. Okay. Okay. Okay, we hopefully killed it now. I mean, that was a 5x5 of murder by the looks of it. Good. Good. What a beautiful, beautiful broad axe. It's a shame I'm not on one-handers, or I would be in 7th heaven to see a broad axe like that. Why are you using Kirari darts instead of javelins? Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, the thing I said about not full clearing floors, you see my point? If I had just found a way to bypass this floor quickly, all that time I just spent would have been saved. Okay, that was a pause. Why was that a pause? Rapier of Destruction. I don't like destruction weapons. Or distortion, sorry. Alright, bathe everything in fire. I'll take a disto to the face if necessary, but it was not necessary. Alright, clear again. I do so love to cut. Cut, cut. Cut, 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 cut. Cut, 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 cut. Cut, cut, cut. Cut, 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 cut. I do not envy the guy who watches this barreling down on him. A pan-resistant mob with this much power. Spirit Shield seems like it's just straight up better than Reflect Shield. Was there something else on this amulet that I cared about? Int +6 doesn't help me much, so yeah. I'll take a Spirit Shield with a pip of Resist Cold in it, sure. Functionally increases my health by 20. I'll take it. More, I think, actually. I don't think it scales 1-to-1. I think it's better than that. Oh, shafted to D5. Or Depths 5. And playing too fast, and I got hit. This is a really, really bad place to be. I'm teleporting out. I don't want to be here anymore. That teleport was less effective than a random blink. How sad is that? Yeah, I think I keep teleporting. I don't think this is a good space to stand my ground. Did I just get abyssed? I think I saw Boris for a second, and then I didn't see Boris, and I don't know what just happened. Well, we've got regen, and we're going to have to use regen pretty liberally to get through the next few seconds. Let's use that map and figure out how to get upstairs so we can stair hop if necessary. Good. Let's head there. Shafting is the worst. I don't understand how some people think it's the best part of the game. Yes, it creates some nice experiences. That's not worth it to me. All right, come closer. Closer, everybody, before I condenser vein. The beauty of the condenser vein with this much training is it's going to recharge itself by the time it's done hitting everything. And I don't know who had a disto weapon, but whoever had a distortion weapon was probably in there, the mess, with everyone else. Okay, we good? Loot the bodies. Condenser vein is still inert. Condenser vein is not inert anymore. Yeah, that was a good use of the condenser vein. If I use it in a place where it immediately finishes recharging, you know that you used it in a sufficiently large crowd to justify it. Because failing to use it and using it would have been identical in terms of the price to you in the end. Oh, I'll take boots. Okay, boots of +1 is still better than nothing. RF and will beats pure RF. And you know what? At this point, I would say that I'd rather have a little bit more will than a little bit more slaying. So we're going to ditch the slaying +4. But we'll keep the bonus RN and everything else. So now we have a couple more tiers of resists off of that. That's fine. Maybe I'll change my mind and switch back later. I don't know. But for now, it's a reasonable switch. And we'll go ahead and get the +1 AC from the better boots. No, kill the flayed ghost first. Now get the better AC. Thank you. Yeah, an elemental mage would be like, oh no, this thing resists my element and he's resistant to poison and how I'm going to deal with it. And Minotaur's like, can you resist axe wounds? No? Oh, good. I resist axe wounds and I'm resilient to damage because I have hundreds of health. Let me explain something. At 247 health, this guy has more health than the royal jelly. Yeah, same mobs earlier that were scaring me. As long as I have control of the retreat and the lay of the land, and I'm not, like, running scared, I can just plow through them. Nothing of note. Which means... in we go. Alright, and with that, I really do have to call it, guys. You all have a great night. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I just don't want to spend too much more time on this. It's already almost 10:30, and that was my quitting time. Yeah, this guy is going to hit caps on a lot of these skills really fast. Time check. Yeah, it's been a 2 hour, 15 minute. So it's going to end up being like a 3 hour win just to run the Berserker through the whole dungeon. That's kind of awesome, actually. Turns out that if I had gone one-hander plus shield, might have been a little bit better for... I would have gotten better artifact support, but it doesn't matter because I have sufficient power to win the game with what I've got. I do need to remember that I don't resist corrosion passively and make use of a resist corrosion ring when necessary. Int minus doesn't scare me, so... That's great. I cleave, so surrounding me with minions doesn't actually scare me much, as long as they're not too strong. That's a ring of slaying. Man, double slayage rings. I want to make a stony octopus someday with like appropriate evade slaying AC plus stuff rings to make it worthwhile. And I feel like that could happen. Just imagine a stone tentacled octopus with 64 slaying bonus. I mean, I'll stop imagining it. That's a pipe dream. Still, does make a man think, right? Think of his dreams. Dreaming of stony octopi. I don't normally say this, but dream bigger. Biggest threat to me here is hubris and tab fighting my way into an orb of fire that 6x mutates me before I can realize and hit the brakes. Even my Ghazlal mage was not this strong. There's something irresistibly powerful about this amount of AC. 48 AC, man. The sad part is it's not even like he's capped. If I did more of the content, I could easily see that these this armor getting pumped to its maximum. I did finish the volts this time. Normally I skip that, but I didn't, for example, go and take the slime rune with a resist ring. There's no question in my mind that I could take the slime rune right now if I want to, especially if I do it correctly. Strength is fine, just max out. So we hit level 27. That's great. And I got to think about titles. Oh no, I don't. I'm an axe maniac. There we go. I've already maxed out axes. I didn't even know it. I actually didn't want to go with that title, but whatever. Slot 4. And now I guess I am going for a full clear. Wasn't the initial plan, but it's where we ended up. All right, 10:30, quitting time. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time.